All right, now this is Brad and Nick with the Steel Deal. We've got the regular season upon us. It's Thursday night. We got Thursday night football coming up in about an hour, but for now, it's time to talk Steelers football. All right, wanted to talk about who's going to make the biggest jump in production from last year to this year, whether it's a free agent pickup we had last season that's still on the roster this year, or even a rookie from last year. What are your thoughts on who's going to make that big move?
I think if you look at the coach's answer, it's Roman Wilson.
Uh-huh.
There have been reports that he is the reason that they did not feel like they needed to get a number two wide receiver. They were really impressed with him. Um, he obviously he drafted, I think, second or third round out of Michigan last year. He hurt his ankle in the first play of training camp. Didn't
Yeah.
play at all last year. I think he had a handful of snaps. He didn't see the field. Little disappointing of a pick. Obviously, the Steelers are kind of known as that wide receiver factory, and
Yeah.
for him to not play when we needed someone to step up besides Pickens,
Mhm.
he was injured. He didn't play at all. So I think he's got that full offseason of NFL training. He's come in stronger. He's impressed coaches. The stat line's going to improve because you have to improve from zero.
Yeah.
But the fact that the coaches and words leaked out to reporters that they don't feel like they need to acquire a wide receiver too because they think they have one in the building in Roman Wilson. And then you see what he did in the preseason. He played very well. He looked like he was if he wasn't open, he was still getting the ball. And I've seen people say that they see shades of number 86 Hines Ward in him. So that's my prediction for the breakout player. But it's hard to call him a breakout when he's going from zero to whatever he goes to. But there's high expectations for him.
Yeah. I mean, I like that call, and I like that we didn't end up getting anybody at receiver, free agency, or trade other than DK. I mean, you draft these guys for a reason. Calvin Austin, he turned in what, 50, 60 catches last year. I mean, the needle's moving up for him. He may not be a starting guy because he's just, his size. He's what, 5'7", 5'8",
He's
170
tiny.
pounds. I mean, those guys don't generally start to begin with just because of that reason. What I like to see is, Roman come out and turn in 70 catches this year if he can. And if Calvin adds another 25 to his stat line, they'll be fine. There's not a lot of patience in today's game with allowing these guys to grow. Everybody's like, who are they going to trade for? Who they got to get a number two? Well, they draft these guys for a reason. Let's give them an opportunity to put some out on the field first. I mean, and then if they flame out in 3 seasons, well, then you're either going to draft another one or you're going to go to free agency route and try to fill that hole.
Yeah, I think it's patience, right? I mean, you look at when we had that string of just receiver after receiver after receiver that hit, you want to start with Plaxico and then into Hines and then Santonio. And then we had that string of Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
We were just hitting on receivers, and it was patience. They weren't exploding in their first year.
Hmm.
If you look back at the history of the Rooneys and the Steelers, they don't like to play rookies their first year anyways.
Yeah.
So to your point, we expect a lot of these guys coming out of college to say, "Hey, you played 12 games at the highest level last year," or in the Steelers' case, they like to draft from not the highest level. They love the MAC, they love the conference, but you expect a lot of these guys. So give them time, let them evolve. And I don't I don't need 1,000 yards out of Roman Wilson this year. I need 700 and a couple touchdowns because that's going to let DK do what DK needs to do.
Hmm.
That's going to allow Calvin to do what Calvin does best, which is run past everyone like the little lightning bolt he is.
Yeah.
It just if Roman can step up, and I think that he will, that's going to allow our entire offense to step up.
Oh, yeah. And with our number one guy actually putting forth some production and
Yeah,
effort on the field, that should make a big difference, no
yeah.
matter
Not
who's up under center.
not taking any plays off. What do you think? Who's your projection for biggest jump?
Peyton Wilson,
Okay.
linebacker, they're saying he's showing a ton of leadership qualities
Yeah,
during camp and preseason. And you saw it a little bit he was on the field. I mean, he's moving all over the place. And they were really high on him coming out of college, said he was like the
absolutely.
steal of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, you have a guy like that who, if he didn't have, I think he has no ACL. Like, I don't think he has like any ligaments in his knees. And that was like the big ding on him. It was a medical thing. And when he came out, I remember that all the reports were like, this guy's a first round talent, but you might only get him for 4 years.
Yeah.
And the
He said
Steelers,
he was a one contract guy.
yeah, they're like, okay, well, if we can get a first round talent for 4 years in the third round, fourth round, like, yeah, absolutely, let's do that.
Yeah.
And it's looks like it's working out because again, you talk about when one guy gets better, they all get better.
Yeah.
And he allows Patrick Queen to do what Patrick Queen needs to do. So, Peyton can do what he needs to do. And then you have Cole Holcomb behind him. You have three starting linebackers.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that pick. Expecting big things out of Peyton this year.
And he's what, the second guy we drafted without an ACL?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
first one turned out pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's one of my all-time favorites. So, and speaking of favorite players, you wanted to talk about TJ Watt in the modern
Woo!
era versus Troy Polamalu in the modern era, and which one was better on the field?
Yeah, I think my answer is going to surprise some people because I love TJ and I'm trying to think if I have anything TJ down here. I got my jerseys upstairs. I love TJ. He is the best defensive player that I have truly seen from start. I remember the day we drafted him, and I thought we were drafting him off his name alone. I was like, oh, we're just taking him because the last name's Watt. Well, here I am, 10 years later, very wrong. He'll end up in the Steelers Hall of Honor. He'll end up in the Hall of Fame. He's the best player in the last 10 years to play for us. But overall, as I was writing this down and thinking about it, I think the answer is still Troy. And my reasoning for that is it might even be just because of the position. So TJ is the best edge rusher I think of this generation.
Yeah.
But when you have an edge rusher, you can scheme him out of the game. You can double him, you can chip him, you can
Mhm.
throw screens, you can run away from him. You can scheme him out of the game. You could never scheme Troy Polamalu out of a game.
Those are when you told me we were going to talk about that, those are my exact
Yeah,
thoughts.
you just couldn't. He wherever you thought he was not going to be, he was going to be there.
I was
If he
watching
needs
some
to be,
highlight reels of both of them this afternoon,
yeah,
and for all the credit TJ gets for sacking quarterbacks and this and that, and the highlight reel stuff, the way he plays the run, I mean, he's not a one trick guy. I mean, he is standing offensive linemen up and stopping guys in the backfield just as often as he's hacking quarterbacks and knocking balls out. I mean, all of it. I mean, he's unstoppable out there.
yeah. I think in my opinion, that's like a key aspect of turning a great player into an elite player
Mhm.
is they have what they're drafted to do, right? Rush the passer, right? Troy Polamalu, you know, play the defensive backfield. But if they excel, if they're elite at something else entirely,
Mhm.
that's what separates them. And with TJ, it's the run game. I mean, you look and it's not only is he stopping the run, he's getting interceptions, right?
Yeah.
And that's crazy for an edge rusher to do that. And for Troy, it's kind of the other. He was supposed to be way back there stopping the pass, and yet he's in the backfield sacking a quarterback, jumping over an offensive line.
He's like a human missile. I
He
mean,
was
it's
the
just
angel of
unreal.
darkness. I mean,
Yeah.
just an insane talent. And I just think you put him on any team in any era, and he's going to be amazing. Now, granted, it had to work because he had to have the right players in place. But that's why, like, when I was typing this out, I was like, oh, it's TJ. TJ's my favorite player. TJ's the best modern player, obviously. And I was like, well,
You
43. I
watch
think it's
those highlight
43.
reels between the two, and it's just, I'll never forget when Troy picked off Carson Palmer in 2004 and returned it for a score. It was like, wow, this guy's the real deal. I mean, in
Yeah.
watching all his interceptions, I mean, he's immediately turns into a running back
Yeah.
with just all this spin ability. He is doing everything he can to get that ball in the end zone the second he gets his hands on it. It's
And he's
not
so
like,
quiet.
oh man, I gotta, he is like, I'm going the other way with this.
Yeah.
You guys need to start blocking.
And his interceptions, I remember the one against, I still will never forget the one against the Colts that he scooped up off the ground that they then reviewed and said was incomplete in the playoffs. Like that was very
He
clearly
clearly wasn't.
he got his hands underneath it. But I can't tell you how many times I've watched the uh, Steelers Ravens AFC Championship game when he picks off Flacco. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the electricity that and that he would provide. And fun fact, Carson Palmer was his college roommate
Yeah.
at USC, which I love. I love that when that stuff takes itself to the next level. But we're so blessed as Steelers fans to be able to say, hey, which generational player was better? Because we have so many.
Oh yeah.
And Troy is just, he's one of a kind. There is no player that is like Troy. There is no player that will be like Troy.
Hmm.
And what a treat it was to get to watch him excel at what he did for so many years. And it's so I love that now he's back in good graces with the team. They're on speaking
Hmm.
terms because he's involved with the Steelers again. And that's awesome for fans, for new fans growing up who are growing up getting to watch highlights. It's so cool.
Yeah, you couldn't scheme him. I mean, he was everywhere. If
Yeah.
you thought you had him out of the play, no, he's that speed and smarts. He's he's going to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And
Have you heard the Pat McAfee talk about him when they were trying to run a fake field goal or a fake punt?
yeah, maybe.
And I forget the details, but Pat McAfee, he's a noted yinzer. They were running a fake, I think a fake punt or a fake field goal, whatever, and they were getting ready to snap the ball. And Pat McAfee, I think it was a fake field goal, looked up and he saw Troy Polamalu. He saw him at the line of scrimmage and he audibled out. And he was like, "I'm not running that play. That's the angel of darkness in the C gap." And so
That's where you got that name was saying
yeah,
was
he
from
called that.
Pat.
He was like, he saw him there, and he was like, "I'm not even taking that chance. I'm shutting it down."
Wow.
Yeah, it's you can't scheme against a player like that, and it's just such a treat to watch. And you wish you could watch those guys forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, because when they hit that wall and they start
Yeah,
trailing off, it's like, well, the end is here,
the end is nigh.
Ugh. Yeah. So speaking of favorite players, going even further, looking at the guys on the roster this year, what kind of numbers are we looking at out of Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, I'm thinking that provided he stays healthy, plays all season, that we could, and the arm doesn't, go dead. I'd say 28 touchdowns would be reasonable, somewhere between 28 and the low 30s.
Yeah, I was thinking like 24, 25 because I think that Arthur Smith will kind of like to run a little bit more at the goal line. When you have, like we talked about last time, when you have three tight ends who can play,
Hmm.
you have the benefit of being able to run those jumbo packages. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think mid 20s to 30, I think is very fair.
Yeah.
You're not, he's not doing 48.
No.
That's not happening anymore.
We
That's not
don't
even
want him
happening
throwing that many.
it's not even happening in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
They're all in the mid 30s. How many yards do you think he'll get?
Mm. 34 to 3,600.
I literally wrote 3,500.
Okay.
Yeah, he had obviously the eye test is different, but he had comparable stats to Mahomes last year,
Uh-huh.
which is wild, but obviously the eye test is different. He was throwing a lot of those yards and points and touchdowns were in garbage
Jump
time.
time. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Mahomes was obviously much more significant, but his stats haven't been bad.
Hmm.
So that's why I don't think you're going to see this massive fall off because he's not throwing 60 yards at DK. He's going to ask DK to run a 20-yard go and lob it into him. I
Yeah.
don't think he's going to hit any back shoulder throws. He's not going to, he can flick the ball real well, but the throwing power isn't there as much.
Hmm. And then we've got Jalen Warren gets a new contract this week, 2-year
Yep.
extension, keeping him around.
Yep.
He is talented, and the pass protection thing is what's huge with him. I mean, I remember them talking about that when he was a rookie, that he's just protected the quarterback so well. He was so good back there at doing that. And then you give him the ball, and he's pretty muscular dude, fast. He sees the field well. He hits the hole really quick, and that was what I liked about him more than Najee was this guy. Boom, he finds the hole and he takes off. Uh, a lot of people are freaking out, or some are. I've seen some articles that, oh my God, he got a new contract and they just drafted Caleb Johnson. Well, you need more than one guy back there, folks, and
Yeah.
maybe they're not looking for Caleb when Caleb's ready. He's not ready yet. He's not the pass protector that Jalen is, and you don't want to get Rodgers killed
Right.
back there. So you need to kind of slowly spoon feed him along until he is ready to be the first guy, on the field.
Yeah, and I think spoon feed is exactly the way to put that. He came in and Jalen came in as an undrafted free agent. He wasn't supposed to be there. We had Najee. Why do we need this other guy? And Jalen came in and he impressed in training camp with his pass blocking and he made the roster. He kind of reminds me of kind of like this combination of Doug Martin, if you remember him from like the mid 2000s, went to Boise State, nicknamed the Muscle Hamster, played for Tampa Bay.
Okay, yeah, I
Uh,
recognize the name.
and like an early slimmer version of Mike Tolbert, who played for the
Oh, okay.
Panthers. Just guys who were just so muscular, like, but they weren't slow. Like they had a cut, they had an ability to move, and Jalen's not going to spin out of anything, but he's got a decent cut where he can make a guy miss. And I think a 2-year contract for him is fantastic because again, it'll allow us to spoon feed Caleb into the offense and not say, hey, you're out there for 3 downs, figure it out. Rather, hey, watch this guy who's really good at what he does, who worked his way up from nothing as an undrafted free agent to now a starting running back being rewarded with a contract extension. I am curious how they split that backfield. And, when you try to figure out, oh, what are their stats going to be? I think it's so hard because I don't know who's going to play what.
Yeah.
And they also have Kenneth Gainwell,
Hmm.
who's a great third down back, which is, it's just it's hard to know what each individual player will get, especially knowing that we're going to be changing from give the ball to Najee, who will get 1,000 yards one way or the other, whether it be by 5 yard runs or 2 yard runs, he'll get you 1,000
Yeah.
yards. We're blessed with the three good guys, and hopefully one of them can take that step forward and become an actual starter. Obviously, looks more likely to be Caleb Johnson than Jalen or Kenneth Gainwell.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, watching his highlight reels from college, Johnson, he, when he puts it all together, he's going to be a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Whole
I
lot
just
to deal with.
I hope that we can get a good running back and then keep that good running back
Yeah.
because we have a habit of letting those good running backs leave
Yeah.
and then go crazy on Twitter. Shout out Lev Bell.
Oh yeah. And then Derek Harmon not playing this weekend. Y.A. Black's probably going to get that start. And they're now
Yeah,
calling him Terrell Austin's calling him Big Sexy
big sexy.
because he's wearing these cutoff shirts in
Yeah,
practice all the
that's
time.
I know someone said big snack, but obviously that's Casey Hampton.
Yeah, you can't have Big Snack.
Big snack is 98 forever. No, I think that I'm excited to see what he can do. I would love Derek Harmon to play. We need that. All reports say Cam's playing. It's not Tomlin wasn't worried about it at all. So fully expect 97 to be out there. Do
Yeah.
need the defensive line to step up over time, and
Mhm. So are they
hopefully
expecting Derek to miss week one and then be ready for week two kind of thing? Or I haven't
the
heard a
injury
whole
was a
lot.
the injury was a 3 to 4 week injury, and
Okay.
it happened 2 weeks ago. So I think it's just when is he ready type thing.
Yeah.
Throw him out there because also anything lower body is also mental, right? You're
Hmm.
planting on that, but I, I don't think that he's going to be. I know technically Harmon is. We have a weird defense. Harmon's a defensive end. That's what they're listing him as.
Yeah.
But Cam started as that, and now Cam is a nose tackle. He's not a Casey Hampton 3-4 run stuffer, but he's a nose tackle.
Yeah.
But Cam gets double-digit sacks. So are we expecting 7 sacks from Derek Harmon this year? Because if so, that's fantastic. Take let
Yeah.
let Alex and TJ have a rest.
And if you have YA in rotation with those
Yeah,
guys, the way he's pushing the pocket, I mean that he'll end up with a handful too.
yeah, big sexy.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's
Let
so
him wear
fun.
let him wear the cutoffs jersey with a gut hanging out.
Yeah.
That'd be fantastic. What do you think? I don't want to get into super tight ends, but I know that's because tight end's kind of like running back, where it's three with three different guys all playing. What kind of yardage are you looking at for DK this year? Because I looked at his history. He usually averages about 1,100 yards a season,
Uh-huh. Yep.
but he hasn't had a quarterback in 3 years when he had Russ.
Hmm.
Kind of been rotating through. Gino's not bad, obviously. He's probably better than Rodgers at this point, but it seems like his stat line is about that 1,100. Do you see more of that, or do you think he'll come down a little bit yardage wise?
Well, based on what they're paying him, I would I would want to see what 73 catches per year average. Yeah, I run the numbers on him too. I, I would like to see 90 catches and double digit touchdowns. And and when I say double digits, not just hitting 10, I want to see 12 or 13 out of him.
Okay.
That's yeah, I feel like that's where he needs to be, to
Do
justify
you
that paycheck.
do you think, and I'm really curious about this, do you foresee that more on go balls or yak, catches like, hey, we're
Mhm.
throwing slants and you're taking it, or do you see them on jump balls and fades in the end zone? Because I also think you have Darnell
Yeah.
who can also get those. And I wonder, you can't double everyone. If you roll out DK and Darnell, those guys have massive verticality. So
Mhm.
I'm curious, like, do you think they'll be more red zone catches or more deep balls?
Uh, I think he would be a mix
Yeah,
of that because he's got the speed and the size. They can use him wherever. Whereas Darnell, I don't know what his 40 time is, but I don't believe he's quite gonna jet down the field
right.
kind of thing. So he'll be more the jump ball guy.
If he does, man, that's a sight to see.
Yeah. Yeah,
Woo!
do you remember Eric Green that played back in the 90s with Pittsburgh?
Vaguely before my time.
Dude was he was 6'5" or 6'6" and weighed like 290 pounds and could
Yeah.
run like nobody's business.
Wow.
And he was a kind of a Pro Bowl tight end. I think he did make the Pro Bowl a year or two, but he just motivation was an issue. But
Ah.
his size when he was on, you could not stop them. That size in the mid 90s was just
Oh my God.
early
Yeah.
in the mid 90s, that was insane.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, some of the tight ends from 30 years ago are like 6'2", 6'3". I'm like, it's teeny.
Yeah.
It's teeny tiny. The difference between NFL and NBA is just crazy because obviously in NBA the point guards are the smallest guys on the court and they're 6'5".
Hmm.
In NFL that's Megatron.
Yeah.
It's just it's crazy. Now the first Steelers tight end that I can think of is Jay Reamersma. Like that's the first.
Okay.
And
You
and
are
and uh
young.
and Jerame or Jeremy Tooman, like
Yeah,
just
Jeremy Tooman.
yeah,
Hmm.
like those, and he spelled his name with an E at the end.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's why I was like, is it Jerame or Jerame, whatever. But those are my first like knowledgeable tight ends.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
Reamers came from Buffalo and finished out his career in Pittsburgh for like 1 or 2 seasons.
and it's funny that stuck with me.
Yeah. Now, I did notice one thing. We mentioned it some last week. All this talent on the team, especially the offense with all these guys, the three tight ends, then DK and the running backs. Looking at the depth chart on the Steelers website, we have two starters at tight end listed there. And then we have Darnell Washington at tight end listed as like a backup on, unless I'm reading it, but it's what it looked like to me is they listed Fryermuth and Jono as both starting tight ends.
Okay. I mean, I see a lot of 12 personnel. I mean,
Yeah.
Johnny was kind of like that slot receiver. Again, he plays that Gesicki role where it's like, yes, and ironically, both former Dolphins, um, where it's like, yeah, you are a tight end and we're expecting you to block a little bit, but really you have that matchup ability in the middle of the field where you're so quick and you have good hands. Pat's not quick. So it's kind of we have three tight ends with three different skill sets. So I'm
Mm.
I'm really curious, and this is when you wish you could see him in preseason to see how they'd be deployed.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna find out in, 3 days.
They've kept a lot under wraps.
And we're just gonna hope that Aaron Rodgers' arm doesn't fall off.
Yeah. I just hope Tomlin can manage all these egos. And I don't mean ego in a bad thing with all these guys. I mean,
Right.
they've put the production out on the field, but now they're all on the same team. So
If there's one coach who could do it, it's Mike Tomlin, and I stand by that. He has many faults, but managing a locker room
yeah,
is not it.
he's got the track record. There's no doubt about that.
I mean, as a life coach in a NFL head coach's body.
Yeah. How are you looking as far as wins and losses this year? What are you thinking?
9-8, man. 8-8-1.
Yeah, there you go.
I It's so hard to do this stuff to sit there and I did kind of like go through what I think. And you sit there and it's almost like when you're taking a multiple choice question test, you're like, I can't have three A's in a row. That's not right.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, that pattern can't be A, B, C, D, C, B, A. That doesn't make any sense. And I
Mhm.
kind of did that with with the breakdown. I'm like, no, we can't win 3 road games in a row like that. We're not going to do that. And I'm sitting here like, oh no, we're definitely going to blow a game that we should win, and we're definitely going to win a game we should blow. So I got to 10-7, which I think is fair. I still think the
Okay.
17 game season is stupid. I think it should be
Yeah.
16. It's a lot more
Yeah.
sense mathematically.
Completely agree.
But there's going to be games in there that we lose. I have us splitting Baltimore, which is usually the case. I have us splitting Cincinnati, and I have us sweeping Cleveland. I just don't think Cleveland's going to be a good team. That doesn't mean they're not going to be competitive games.
Yeah.
And then you also have to take into account when we play these games and where we play these games. We play Green Bay on Sunday night, right?
Yeah.
Green Bay's a better team, but Mike Tomlin has an insane win-loss record at home on Sunday Night Football.
Hmm.
So it's hard to put this together, but I get 10-7. I still think that gives Baltimore the division. We talked about this last episode. Baltimore's just there's so much more complete a team. Lamar Jackson is top 3 quarterback in the world.
Hmm.
The things that they're doing, the things that he allows them to do, we can beat them and we can hang with them, but they can immediately just stomp on the gas and go. So I sit at 10-7 with some wiggle room in there. But I think 10-7 gets you second place in the North, and I think gets you a wild card, berth in the playoffs. And from there, it's 1v1. It doesn't matter what your record is. It's the playoffs.
Yeah. You bring up a good point with losing the easily winnable games.
Mm,
Or
yeah.
supposedly, that was one of the knocks on Cower for a long time.
Really,
Would
that's so interesting.
they would drop those games and they would. I mean, it happened quite a bit. And it's like, oh, here we go again. When Ben got there,
Yeah.
we started winning those games. So I guess we'll see what kind of influence Rodgers has in the locker
Mm,
room over his team to motivate these guys to. I mean, I get it from a psychological standpoint. You're say you've won 10 games in 2.5 months or whatever, and then you're going up against somebody that's only won three. You can see guys kind of laying down and say, "Oh yeah, we'll knock these dudes out."
right.
Who's going to keep that motivation going? And will Rodgers be that leader to keep them focused on, "Hey, we still got to go out here and execute."
Yeah. The thing is, every NFL team is made up of NFL talent.
Hmm.
And even on the worst team, you got dudes who would start on the best team.
Yeah.
And any given Sunday, it just the ball can bounce the wrong way. And we have a habit of losing those games. Again, it's hard to predict those games on the schedule because are we going to lose to the Jets to open the year? Are we going to lose to Seattle? Are we going to lose to the Patriots? Those are our first 3 games. I have us heading 3-0 out of the first 3 games.
Okay.
They all feel like winnable games to me. I have us losing to Minnesota. I think the Brian Flores defense is going to give us fits, but their offense might not be good. But I'm going through the easiest game we have on our schedule this year is probably Indianapolis, and they're an old rival, and we play
Okay.
them pretty close, and they have our number.
Yeah.
So what do you think record wise?
I was thinking somewhere in that 9-8 to 11-6
Yeah.
window. It all just it comes back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
If we get decent quarterback play, there's
Yep.
a good chance that we end up in double digits.
It's like the floor. It's just our floor with the Mike Tomlin is 8 wins.
Yeah.
He will coach this team to 8 wins. It's can we get those 3 or 4 extra wins
Hmm.
that make us feel good? Maybe. I also hate that only one team gets a bye now. I think that's stupid in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Don't mix with perfection. It worked. It worked for years. We don't
I
need more.
know it sucks for that number 2 seed, but well, we're playing in the first weekend. We might be at home, but
Yeah,
throw the pads on and go out here and play another game. Nobody gets a break.
right. Or
Sometimes it can be a good thing to play straight through and keep that
right.
momentum rolling because I've seen
Sometimes.
a bunch of number 1 seeds go down over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, because they have that mentality. Oh, we're better than them. The
Hmm.
Eagles, they were talking. I was watching the replay of the Super Bowl yesterday, and Jalen Hurts was talking about the first time he held up the NFC Championship trophy, the year they lost to the Chiefs.
Okay.
He was like, "This is amazing. This is the greatest thing. We're going to go to the Super Bowl and we're going to win it." And then they lost. And he said the second time he went, he was like, "Okay, this doesn't matter. Like this trophy does not matter. It's the next one." And he said that mentality of it's the next one, it's the next one. And even so, against the Chiefs, they were up 21 points at one point. He said, "Doesn't matter. It's Patrick Mahomes. We have to keep going. We have to keep going." And I think that's
Yeah.
he's a winner. He's a proven winner everywhere he's gone. You have to have that mentality and not collapse, not start 11-0 and then finish 11-7 and lose in the wild card round to your Browns.
They
And
lose.
yeah,
That was, mm, yeah.
that was
So,
tough.
what do you think the final score is going to be on Sunday?
It's so hard to know, right? Because again, all we talked about, we don't know what it's gonna look like. It could
Yeah.
be 21-10. But let's go 24-17 Steelers.
Okay. I'm thinking 2013.
Okay.
Just on the offense, I don't expect it to be humming right out of the gates since they,
Right.
you know, and then Fields, I don't see them putting him doing much to get them in the end zone. And by all accounts I've read, he's not looked very good with
His
them.
legs.
Uh,
He's my fantasy quarterback, so
yeah.
hoping for some rushing yards. But the
Is he
Steelers
your
do
starter?
historically play. Yeah, he's my starter,
Okay.
unfortunately. But the Steelers historically play well against rushing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's what Peyton Wilson is for, to
Oh, yeah.
keep that outside and contained. And
Yeah.
Patrick
We
Queen.
got a crew of linebackers ready to put the stop on any running quarterback.
I just think it's so interesting. Of course, the schedule makers make it this way, but you get Rodgers versus old team. No one he was there with is still there. I think two or three guys are like
Yeah. And there's,
that he brought with him. Other than that, it was a 1 year rental.
yeah, there's no
Um,
deep bond with any of those guys.
no,
It's not like we're playing the Packers the year after he left or
right.
something.
I think Lazard is still there, but I don't even know. But and then Fields versus Steelers, so they're trying to make this like this huge thing. It's like, well, it's
Yeah.
not. It's the Jets and it's the
Need to try
Steelers.
to get attention somehow, but that's not the way to do it for us that are really paying attention.
No,
Mm,
we're ready, man. I got my
yeah,
4-1-2 shirt on.
there you go.
Let's go. I'm ready for football to be back. We got kickoff here in like 5 minutes of the
Yeah,
season.
not long. Here we go.
We're back.
That's right. Hope for the best. That's for sure. We'll see you
Anything
guys
better than 8-8.
with the game wrap up and sometime next week. We'll get a rhythm down soon.
Here we go.